Hello and welcome to the National Football Museum here in Manchester. We're here for the launch of the Betfred Super League. We've got 14 teams this year. 14 teams are dreaming of Old Trafford glory and lifting that famous trophy. We're also celebrating 30 years of the Betfred Super League. We're here in Manchester for this very, very special show as we're building up to the start of the Betfred Super League season. So here we are, building up to the start of the Betfred Super League. I'm delighted to be joined by Paul Sculthorpe, who of course won the grand final on 4 occasions with St Helens. But we kick off with a man who won it all last season, of course, the head coach of Hull KR, Willie Peters. Willie, wow, last season, what was it, 40 years since a major trophy of Hull KR, and you did the treble.
Yeah, unbelievable achievement by the whole club, and something we'll never ever forget. But 26 has come, so we need to make sure now that we're going to head down. But look, I'll always remember 25 as the best year personally of my life, because the memories we had as a family, and you know, with the community and what we did for our community was something I'll never forget. You know, my wife as well, I better say, getting married was pretty cool. The kids are the best. But sorry, Kira.
It seemed to be like building momentum. So the Challenge Cup, first time in 45 years, then winning the League Leaders Shield, and then the playoffs, and then the grand final.
Yeah, after we won the Challenge Cup, it was sort of like, because if we lost that game, I remember 77th minute or 6th minute, I was like, what am I going to say to the players? Because I thought it wasn't going to happen. I was confident up until about the 70th minute. I thought we're still in this. We've defended. I was confident they weren't going to score, but it was how we're going to score. And I just remember at the time I was going, what am I going to say to these boys to get them back up? Obviously, we went down the other end of the field. We scored that try. We'd won that, so that was a massive relief. Then you play. You know, the boys played every week, and you find yourself in a position to go win the league leaders. And it was probably after we won the league leaders, not probably, it was after the league leaders that I realised, hey, we can actually go win a treble here. It wasn't anywhere before that I thought, we're going to go win the league leaders and we're going to go win a grand final. It was after we won the league leaders. That's when it gave us the real belief.
Has there been an air of confidence throughout pre-season, obviously on the back of winning the treble, and maybe talk amongst the boys about keeping them standards now and staying the team to beat?
Yeah, I mean, Scully, you know better than anyone, when you win competitions and you're in elite teams, there's an expectation there now of standards, and if you drop those standards, then now you're not living KR standards. You're not a KR player. That's where we've got to. So I think it's easy. People say, "What's the motivation?" and all that sort of stuff. The motivation's got to be around that feeling again, because it was incredible. But our aim's always been to make our community proud. We're a community-based club, so we need to go earn that again. But it's your behaviours every day. People talk about culture. It's how you act and how hard you train. They've trained hard. They've lived it again every day.
The big reward of obviously winning the Betfred Super League as well is you get to have a crack at the Aussie champions, Brisbane. How has pre-season changed so that you're match ready for that game? Has it changed? Have you had to focus, to be ready for Brisbane?
It hasn't changed. We've got a little motto around a little bit further in everything we do, which is mainly around our pre-season. And it'll be bits and pieces in season. We've probably got to simplify it a bit more in the season because it's such a demanding year. You don't get a week off. To be honest, we haven't really spoken a great deal around Brisbane. We know it's there. The main focus and where we're going to get to is York, because last year we should have been beaten in round 1 by Cass. If Cass kicked that goal, we're beaten in round 1 and we just fell in round 2. So that's a priority.
And then the big games keep coming. You go to Vegas. How good is that?
Yeah, it'd be cool. Look, I'll talk about Vegas, but again, we haven't looked too far ahead, but it'll come around quickly. But what an honour to be able to be part of those massive games. Like you look at the World Club Challenge and and then go to Vegas. We're not just representing KR, it's the Super League, it's the British game, it's bigger than us, so we want to emulate what St Helens did over there against Penrith, in their home ground, and we want to emulate what Wigan did a couple of years ago, against Penrith at their home ground. We want to win, so I'm sure people in our city, there'll be some not going for us, but I think the majority of the Super League will be on our side, which will be pretty cool.
You've got some big games ahead. You've got the Betfred Challenge Cup, of course. You've got the start against York. You've got the World Club Challenge, the trip to Vegas. What have you said to the squad then? What is success for Hull KR on the back of an outstanding season? What is success?
Yeah, it's a good question. We haven't probably broken it down to that yet, because what I believe in is living in the now. I know it can be cliche, but it's true. Like, so far, have we had success? Well, we haven't won a game yet, but they're working hard. They're training well. But there was a couple of years ago, we wanted to go from good to great. And what did that look like? The players said it towards the back of the year. I asked them, and it was winning a trophy. We lost against Wigan that year. We were second best all year. They won that grand final. But I thought we did a lot of great things throughout that year. I thought it was a great year, but they wanted a trophy attached to it. We obviously went and got 3 last year, but we changed it at the start of the year, was to be a great Robin. What's a great Robin? We've got 3 pillars that we live by every day. So for us, that's what we're going to keep living by, and that's success. That's essentially what we're going to break it down to. Hopefully the trophies will come off the back of that.
And just before we let you go, Willie, Scully, how big achievement is it to win the treble?
Oh, enormous. It shows, Willie spoke about it then, I think the consistency of the performances, throughout the year, to win all 3 trophies, hopefully another one coming, World Club Challenge.
So. Yep.
Do Super League proud.
That'd be nice, mate. That's the aim.
Well, I'll see you at the World Club Challenge, and I'm going to be lucky enough to see you in Vegas as well, all right?
See you there.
We'll see you in Vegas. And playing in Vegas is Hull KR. Their opponents are Leeds. Leeds are in action on the Sportsman on Saturday. Widnes in the Betfred Challenge Cup. It's going to be a very, very tough game for Leeds in the Betfred Challenge Cup. That is live and exclusive on Saturday on the Sportsman. So live action in the Betfred Challenge Cup on Saturday, Widnes versus Leeds, and we've got the Leeds coach, Brad Arthur, alongside me. I tell you what, that is not an easy start to your Challenge Cup campaign, is it?
No, it's not. I've watched a fair bit of vision of those guys, and one thing we're going to have to be is on our game defensively. They'll challenge the line, they move the ball around, they're happy to take a few chances, and I think their mentality would be to come out there and have a red-hot crack and throw everything at it and try and challenge our line defensively. So, they've got a good kicking game. They move the ball well.
So Betfred Challenge Cup action on Saturday, but how's pre-season been?
Yeah, a bit different to my first pre-season. The first pre-season was more about mentality training and resilience and systems and principles about how we want to play. And I feel like the team was on top of that throughout the season and put us in good stead for most games. We're in winnable positions for all our games. The bit we need to now improve is in those games, there were some big moments and decision making under pressure and under fatigue. We struggled, so we've done more around that. Putting them in scenarios and in different situations that mightn't happen that regularly throughout a season, but when they do, they really count. We've got to get them right.
Made some big signings in the pre-season. What for the new guys brought?
Ethan O'Neill's just a good, solid, steady player. Gives us that versatility. He played a full 80 minutes for us in the back row, then moved in a bit into the halves in our last trial match. Done a really good job. He's a left footer. So he's a handy addition. Danny Levi, I think with the adjustment to the rules around the ruck and quicken it up, he's a really good runner out of there and he's a threat. And being able to have 2 hookers that run a lot and be a constant threat, I think they'll be able to challenge, around that play the ball area.
I think great to see Mikasibo back as well. That was a tough ask, wasn't it, last year, what happened to him. So great to see him fit and ready to kick off his career with the Rhinos.
It's like a new signing, isn't it, really? And everyone's so excited. And probably won't be right for that early round, but we're looking at maybe round 2. Hopefully we can get him ready for round 2, but he's training well. The boys know he's back into training because he's a big physical man, and none of them are real keen on tackling him.
Right, Betfred Challenge Cup on Saturday. I know you only look into the first game, etc., but at the end of the month, you got a trip to Vegas.
Yep.
Now that is a brilliant experience for your fans and the players as well.
Look, it's great for the game. It's great for the club. As a coach, it's a bit frustrating at times because, we don't want to make sure we're not looking too far ahead and we've got to have our eye on right now. But, it's something you want to be a part of and we are looking forward to it. We just need to make sure when we get to that stage, we've done enough, in these first couple of games to make sure we're ready for that game because we're up against good opposition in Hull KR, the best. So we want to be able to challenge them in that game.
So 4th last season, real heartbreak in the playoffs, obviously. You have brought some consistency to Leeds that's been lacking in the last few years. What's success for Leeds this season then?
Yeah, I think we've really identified what our team identity is now and how we want to play, and the boys are comfortable with that. Like I said, we improve our decision making. We need to go better than 4th place. We need to be those games where we're in them at the dying stages in the 70th minute. We need to turn into wins instead of close losses or a heartbreaking loss. With 60 seconds to go. So we've done a fair bit of work around that, and very rarely did we get beat on effort or physicality throughout the last season. It was more around blokes just trying to overplay their handle or do someone else's job. So we've had a big focus on everyone owning their own job.
Well, Brad, thanks for joining us. Good luck for the season. Good luck on Saturday as well.
Thank you.
So you can see Leeds versus Widnes on Saturday. We've also got some action on Friday night as well. Workington Town versus St Helens. That could be an absolute cracker in the Betfred Super League, live and exclusive. Let's hear from the new St Helens coach is with Lewis.
Paul Rowley alongside me. Rolls, good to see you. A lot's changed since we last spoke, but enjoying the new job?
Yeah, it's brilliant. Got a great group of lads and the staff in particular have been fantastic. So I'm really enjoying it.
I'm not going to ask you to sort of relive last year, but how nice is it for you as a coach to have some stability and something to work with?
Yeah, it's just good to concentrate on the job in hand and no exterior factors really. So it's good.
You'd be forgiven listening to the outside noise to think that you're picking up some sort of bent and broken St Helens team, but it's a team that were 80 minutes away from Old Trafford last year. You must feel that you can really take them on to contenders again.
Yeah, I think any team that you inherit, you've got to put your own stamp on it, and it'll take a couple of years to really get what you want to get out of it. But what I will say is, I've walked into a team that is in no shape broken at all. There's some fantastic players. There's a real appetite for success, and I've added some players to it as well. So we're more than happy with our playing personnel and again, like I said before, our coaching personnel as well.
Go on then, you say you've got to add your stamp to it. What is your stamp?
Well, I think the players that I brought in probably emulate a little bit of what my stamp is. So you know how my teams like to play a little bit of football there. So bringing Jacko and Nenny in particular on the edges. Joe Shorrock's a bit of a conduit between middle's edges. So, but yeah, we want supporters to go home happy that they've been entertained, but we want to retain the DNA and all the strong adjectives that describe St Helens people and the team that for decades in history that has always described them: hard-working, honest, and committed. So we want to retain that as well.
14 head coaches in the room. You're all being very nice to each other today, but it's going to be a really competitive season, isn't it, when you look at the strength and depth in the league? Yeah,
I think so. I got asked earlier who the main competitors are, and I think it'd be really difficult to say that. I think there's always the perennial achievers who are in that top four and thereabouts, and then there's teams that have come from nowhere in the last few years, and then obviously there'll be some new ones within this year as well in 2026 that surprise, overachieve, call it what you will. So the year, as we know, is unpredictable, full of surprises. But what I'll say is the fixture list, the schedule is pretty ruthless this year. It's obviously a little bit compressed because of the World Cup, and so it's back to back. And like we said before, 14 teams. Packed full of quality. The quota going up. There's more players coming in that respect as well. So, I can't remember one looking as difficult. Put it that way.
Well, just a quick word on Friday night. Workington away in the Challenge Cup live on the Sportsman. You're going to have to put a competitive team out there. We've seen these games being banana skins before. Yeah, definitely. We'll put a strong team out. We'll be going, with our strongest, and we'll give Workington full respect. They're there on merit, and they're again historically, and they're a proud club. Going up to Cumbria poses its challenges in itself with
the travel and various logistics there. But yeah, we'll give Workington full respect, and I think they're doing really well on ticket sales, and hopefully it's a really prosperous day for Workington, and hopefully with that in mind as well, it's a successful day for St Helens.
Well, good to catch up with you, mate. We'll see you on Friday night. Live Rugby League, 2 games starting off with Workington Town versus St Helens on Friday, and then Widnes Vikings versus the Leeds Rhinos on Saturday afternoon.
Yeah, thanks very much, Lewis. So, of course, Paul Rowley will get his first taste of a Wigan Saints derby on Good Friday, and I'm delighted to be joined by the Wigan coach, Matt Peet. Matt, how you doing?
I'm very good, thank you. Great to be here.
Yeah, how's pre-season been then?
Yeah, pre-seasons are very much they're similar from year to year. Every coach here will tell you that the lads are trained really hard, which they will have in great physical condition. So all you can hope is that you make the physical gains you want, you get a bit of work done on the field, and you don't get any injuries. So, I've had a few injuries, but other than that, the lads are in good shape.
You've been out in Tenerife. Obviously, that's a massive benefit, isn't it, to do a bit of warm weather training?
It is, yeah. Very grateful to the club for supporting us with that. It just means that you can guarantee long days on the field and on a good surface. It's difficult in these winter months, to be sure of it, so you can get probably twice as much preparation as you can, and it's always good for the lads to get some sun on the back while they're grafting hard.
Must have been a bit of a shock to the system, Matty, last year. No silverware for Wigan. It's a club that demands success. Where do you see the improvement this year in Wigan's performances on 2025 to pick up silverware this year?
To be honest, the process hasn't been that different from the years when we've won. You unpick it, you know before the end of the season where the areas are that you want to improve. And I think one for us would be our consistency. I think last year we were looking to build form towards the back end of the year and find our best rugby, and we probably knew that it was going to have to take our best performance this season to win a grand final, which is not really the shape you want to be in. You want to have those performances under your belt and be flying into it knowing that you're in good form. So we came second, we lost the grand final, but it's fell below our recent standards.
Well, Matt, thanks very much for joining us, and look, we wish you all the best for the season. So, Wigan start away at Castleford Tigers. Let's hear from me at Castleford camp.
I think with a new coach and a new squad, we come in with a fresh kind of face, feel, and I think the boys are really putting in over the pre-season.
Last year was in a very good season for us, but there's a good buzz around the club at the moment, and I'm enjoying coming into work, coming to training, being around all the boys. So I'm really looking forward to 2026.
The boys that have been there for a while have mentioned that it doesn't feel like it's the same club. So hopefully we're going in the right direction, and under the new coach Kari, it feels that way.
Yeah, it just gives everyone a clean start. Everyone starts on the same level. But yeah, he's brought in a very good game plan for us, and everyone's buying into what Kari and the coaching staff are bringing in, and yeah, it's been working well for us so far.
Our focus this year is to put Cas back on the map, and whether it's top 6 or top 4, we're striving to be better, and we're guaranteed. We know that we're going to be up there.
Right, let's hear from one of the new boys. It's a welcome back to the Super League for Mark Applegarth, but it's a warm welcome to the Betfred Super League for the York Knights. Mark, how good is it to be back in the Super League?
Yeah, listen, it's an exciting time for the city, isn't it? Since I've been at York, there's been a burning ambition to be a Super League club. We've now got that wish, and there's a great buzz around the city, and just really proud to be coaching York in Super League.
I mean, York have not been in the top flight since 1986.
Yeah.
It must be a really exciting time, and I know you're doing a lot on the pitch and off the pitch as well.
Yeah, listen, we felt we'd progressed as far as we could as a part-time operation, and playing in the competition that we was, and Clint, the owner's had a burning ambition since he bought the club to progress the club, and York's a great sporting city. They'll get behind the football, they'll get behind the rugby league.
Football team's doing well as well.
Yeah. Very well, and we got very good links with them, and being the only top-level sport in the city will get fully behind us, and it's just one we're relishing. You know, I don't think there's much pressure on us. You know, this first year, it's one that we'll embrace. And listen, long term, we want to make some moves in Super League. We're not naive enough to know that it's going to happen straight away. You know, there'll be a lot of learning for us to do this year, but at the same time, I'm sure that you know, we'll probably go under the radar on a few teams as well.
Mash, you've obviously got a lot of experience in Super League with Wakefield as assistant coach, and then you know, had the head job for a while. What experience do you take into obviously leading now this New York side?
Yeah, you know what, Scully, I probably learned more in that year at Wakefield, losing 14 games on the bounce than we did winning 20 odd games on the bounce last year. You always learn more about yourself and about your team and the people around you when you're probably at your lowest. And yeah, just a really, as silly as it sounds, enjoyable year that year at Wakefield. We knew we were going to be up against it before the ball were kicked. I think the bookies had us at 1-5 on to be relegated. And at the time, I think it was the second to last game, it actually got confirmed. So in a way, I was really proud of how me personally as a coach kept that group together. How you know, the squad of that time kept going under some pretty difficult circumstance, and more importantly, I took that experience and put it into last year at York. And as I said, you don't really learn too much when you're winning because everything's going well, and it probably plasters over a few cracks, doesn't it? And there's definitely a bit of experience in the bank now that if things do start taking a turn either way, you know, either some good wins, tough losses, you can tap into that memory bank, can't you?
What does success look like for York this year?
I think success for this year is, for me, like most teams, aiming for them playoffs. You know, I think I've never been that defeatist mentality that just to survive. I don't think that gets you anywhere. Like most teams, will be aiming to get in them playoffs, and when you do get in them playoffs, anything can happen, can't it? Realistically, you know, we want to be winning more games than we lose. You know, we know that it's not going to be a 22-game winning streak like we had last year. So I think winning more games than we lose and aiming for them playoffs is a realistic target in my eyes.
And as a final question, it starts for you this weekend, away to Barrow in the Betfred Challenge Cup.
Yeah, we've got Barrow away on Saturday night. You know, a lot of respect for Paul as a coach and Barrow as a team. Play a great brand of rugby league. Even you know, when the conditions are how they're going to be, they'll throw the ball around, and it'll give us a great grounding ready for Thursday night. You know, against OKR. But I'll be honest with you, it's too tough a sport to be looking too far ahead. So we'll get Saturday out of the way, then we'll start worrying about what comes next.
Well, Hull KR is the first game for York in the Super League for the first time. Back in the Super League is Toulouse. Let's rejoin Lewis.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Into the Toulouse camp now with head coach Sylvain, and we should start off by saying welcome back to the Betfred Super League.
Yeah, thank you very much. You know, we missed it, so we're really happy to be, and obviously, you know, being in here the last 3 years make it appreciated even more. You know, this time.
You proved why you're worthy of being in this league with that grand final win a few months ago. You must have been so proud of what the club achieved across that year.
Yeah, I go as far as, you know, like being in the last 3 grand final. You know, like since we left Super League in 2022. You know, we can't forget that. You know, like the way, you know, like and obviously, like you said, all the stage and the step that we've done, we achieved. So already I feel that the club is in a better position. The team is in a better place this time. So hopefully, like, you know, like we're gonna prove a lot of people wrong.
Have you learned from that experience of being in Super League 3 years ago?
I would say we've learned a lot. You know, obviously myself, you know, not having been coach, you know, in Super League before, but also the club, and we've learned a lot, and I won't have enough time to tell you how much we've learned. You know, but that's what you said. You know, the process on the last 3 years have been huge. You know, and we improve a lot on and off the field, and I think that's why we're here probably, and we deserve to be here.
And you've brought in some Super League experience into the squad. Was that really kind of needed just to sort of guide the way through the year?
Yeah, it was just, you know, in terms of position. You know, I've looked at our squad and what we need, and in terms of position, and look what player available on them position, and it seems that, you know, like we've recruited, you know, like they're not big names that we recruit, you know, like, but they're players that are wanted at the end of the day. They're players that I feel and, you know, will fit in very well within our culture, our team, our value, and the way we play. So, and I'm very excited about it. Like so far, it has been very, very good.
What would be success for Toulouse Olympique in 2026?
Well, be competitive in every game, and obviously making sure that we're next year.
Well, Toulouse looking to make a dent in the Betfred Super League in 2026. Let's hear from the club who set the blueprint last time out, Wakefield Trinity.
They're only just getting started, really, with where they're aspiring to be and where we're aspiring to be on and off the pitch. Like Matt and his family are doing everything off the pitch, and then Paul is doing, all the stuff. We've got a really young squad, so it's exciting.
Positive season, made positive strides into the development of the club. But yeah, it's obviously a new season, so we start again from no points and then hopefully build ourselves up into a good position come the end of the year.
Obviously this is my first season here, and I've only seen what it's like now, but I've heard the club's come a long way, and yeah, obviously talking to Pearlie and all the coaching staff and the owner, and yeah, there's just good things coming for the club, so just looking forward to that.
Yeah, look, I watched Wakefield closely last year, and we've got a really young crew with a lot of potential, and what they've done the last 2 years, coming through Championship and then their first year in Super League, really excited me. I thought I really wanted to be a part and sort of add value where I can to this group and see what we can do.
It's an exciting time to be a part of it. It's only kind of just the beginning part still, so we're still on the upward trajectory, and there's no real limit on what we can do.
And I'm delighted to be joined by the Warrington head coach, Sam Burgess. Sam, how are you doing?
Yes, very good, very good. How are you guys doing?
Yeah, good. Well, excited to start the Betfred Super League, Betfred Challenge Cup this weekend as well. But how's pre-season been then?
No, it's been good. It's been really enjoyable, actually. We managed to start a little bit earlier because we obviously had a tough year last year. Got some of the younger boys in early, so did some real good work with some of our younger players for the first week or two. And then as we've gone on, the weeks have gone on, we've slowly built and got in more and more players. And yeah, I think we've built a really consistent pre-season, so we're unbeaten at the moment, which is nice. Like everyone else is actually. So it's always a nice place to be, and I've not had to pick a team yet. So but as we get going, it'll be challenged, but we're in a good place.
Any fancy pre-season trips for you lot?
No, we've just gone back to the old school, bit of hard work. Yeah. Can we just address the elephant in the room? I'm just loving this turtleneck. Yeah, it's right up my street. It just might make my head look about 3 times bigger than it already is. That's all. I like it though. You should wear it as like staff kit, I see that on you as well. It looked good.
So, how's your squad in comparison to last year? It seems we've got a bit more physicality. Liam Byrne, James Bentley, Kalepi Tanganoa.
Yeah, we managed to recruit a few guys. We've got Tafo Sipley as well over from Manly. It's a funny one really, because we didn't actively do it, it just naturally happened. We managed to, there was a bit of movement in our cap as the year unfolded. We probably weren't settled last year, and it's probably a big distraction for us. We weren't settled at the start of the year, and we didn't get our recruitment right. And we made a couple of changes during the year, but we've been much more settled with the group we've got. We've all been together from day one, and so that's been good. So we're not going to shop and change now. We're going to keep the group, and we're happy with the blokes that we brought in.
Last year as well, you had some big injury problems, which forced you to play some of the young kids.
Yeah,
them kids have stood out, haven't they? Is there some genuine starters now from your likes of Taylor Ray?
Yeah, well, Kyle start for us at fullback. Kyle will be our number one, at the start of the year, and see how he gets on. But he's had a great pre-season. He's a great kid to coach. He's young, he's energetic, and he had a tough year with injury last year as well. He had a really skinny year. But you'll see a number of players, I'd say, play a bit more this year. But whilst last year was tough in so many ways, it just gave us great opportunity for some young players to get a bit of game time under pressure, and there'll be a bit of good come out of it if you can zoom out of the results and where we finished. There will be a lot of good come from what we went through last year, both individually for the players and the club itself as well.
I mean, one of the positives from last year was definitely the youngsters. What's success this year then, Sam? Come on.
Yeah, well, it's a great question. For me, really, it's just trying to be more consistent, okay? So, let's say last year our best was very good and our worst not so very good. So we're trying to close that gap and become a bit more of a consistent team. more of a consistent club in how we do things. We've made some good strides forward over the off season. Across the board in the admin, over with the rugby side of things, and hopefully put it all together.
And do you feel like you've learnt personally as well?
Oh, yeah, I learned plenty last year. Good and bad, what to do and what not to do. I think also bringing Steve Mack in as well. He's a very experienced coach. He's I think one of the most experienced coaches in Super League at the moment, over 400 games. So that in itself brings a bit of experience to the coaching ranks. It helps you cut out a few blind spots that might happen, and he's been great for the group in that respect.
Well, thanks for joining us. Good luck for the new season as well.
My pleasure, and
good to see you.
I'm going to get myself one of those. I'm going to give it a whirl. I'll check it in the mirror before I come out.
Celebrating 30 years of the Super League, aren't we? And look, he's still got it. Or at least he
still looks 30 years old, Scully, doesn't he? He could still get away with it. Yeah.
Right. Well, let's keep it in the family, and let's hear from the Huddersfield Giants.
It's not very hard to go better than last year, is it? But I definitely think we are. We're a lot more healthy than we were this time last year, which is obviously a big help. We've all been on the field for a long period of time now, so hopefully it sets us up for a good year.
We've been through the toughest times there are, and hopefully a lot of boys feel good from that. It's not going to happen. It's not just going to happen because that's obviously happened, but if we can try use that as motivation to be in a better position this season than last, then I think that's a win for us already.
The comp's wide open. We've said that you've got to be consistent. If you can be consistent and make your sort of your good performances not too far away, like your bad performances not too far away from your good ones, you're going to put you in a good place in the table.
There's always a surprise packet, and this year we're hoping that's us. Not many people outside our four walls think it will be, but we're quietly confident, and just can't wait to start playing now.
Yeah, alongside me now from Hull FC, John Cartwright. John, a season for you, I suppose. Loads of promise last year. I guess you look at it as thinking that there's lots of building blocks there. It's just about putting them together a bit better this year.
Yeah, we, I suppose on the back of the year before, didn't really know what to expect. So to be in contention for most of the year was probably kept most people happy. At the start of the year probably would have been happy with that, but I think as the year unfolded, I just felt that we just lacked a little bit of consistency, and if we had been more consistent, I think there's no doubt we would have played finals footy. We beat a lot of sides that we weren't given much hope of beating, and we lost some games that we probably people thought we should have won. So you can't do that and expect to play in the big games at the end of the year.
I know this is probably a $1 million question, but how do you find that consistency?
Oh, look, another off-season, some recruitment, learnings from last year. It all comes out when you debrief your season and stuff that we've tried. That's the sort of things that we've tried to implement heading into this year.
From a coaching perspective, when you're working with a crop of young players, Lewis Martin, Will Price, Harvey Barron, Davey Litton, the list goes on, that must be so exciting for you.
Yeah, they keep you young, they keep the experienced guys in the squad young. They've always got energy when they come to training. They attack every game like you do as a young fella. And I think, whilst you do need experience in your team, I think it's those younger guys, and especially those guys that you mentioned, they keep everyone enthusiastic and looking forward to the weekend.
How important is it to nail the home games this year, make that place difficult to go?
Yeah, I think we started to do that towards the end of last year. I think we had some real good wins at home in probably the last 6 or 7 games. So I think we've already addressed that, but we certainly don't want to start the year like we did last year. It's really important. We've got great fans, and we want to send them home with smiles on their faces.
Well, best of luck this year. Hull FC looking to crack the playoffs in 2026. Let's hear from a club who have made them their home, the Leigh Leopards.
The reason why we're so consistent is just because of the boys. The boys are so tight-knit group, and I feel like a lot of people see that from the outside in, and it just makes you really want to go that extra mile for your brother at the side of you. When you step onto that field, it's a war, and you need to know that that person either side of you is going to be coming to war with you.
We've always had the opinion that we're a team that's going to contend, and
I think it's taken us a long while to change the narrative of the public and the people looking from outside in, and it's something that we've addressed, that we can't really be worried about what other people are thinking, as long as we believe what we're trying to achieve within our four walls, then we're on the right path there.
The last 3 years, we've been there, like we've been close to getting to a grand final, and last year, we fell short again. So there's a lot of confidence there and belief in what we're doing. So this year, I think, we had some good signings, and I can see some good sign on the training pitch. So I'm pretty excited.
We know how good we can be as a team, coaching staffs included. We know how much belief we have in our team and to getting the job done. But it's never easy. Every year, different teams strengthen their teams. New signings, so we know a lot of people want to be coming for us.
One of the big headlines of 2026 is Bull Mania. I'm delighted to be joined by their coach, Kurt Haggerty. Kurt, how are things at Bradford?
Yeah, really good, thank you. It's been a crazy 10-week, and then it was a crazy 6-week trying to get a team over the line. But ultimately, we're as ready as we can be for Super League, and it's been a crazy couple of months.
And it's been a long time for Bradford, as you'll know. 2014 was the last time we were in the Super League.
Yeah, it has been a long time. So the transition for the club to go from part-time to full-time, you usually do it in the Championship. So to do it straight into Super League, the jump has been absolutely massive. But again, I can't praise the playing group enough. They've been fantastic in the transition and the changes that I've brought to the club of what full-time rugby looks like. So overall, I'm really proud of the players up to now. We've not played a game because it's been a big journey.
Aggie, we know you were obviously set to take the Salford job, and we know what happened there. But obviously now in charge at Bradford, but you've took a lot of that Salford experience with you. Joe Mellor, Eastern Masters, must be quite comforting. With a few people who you know well.
Yeah, it does, Scully. It really helped. So, for example, they were like another set of coaches for me because they had 2 new assistant coaches to Super League and how I played. So they were almost coaches for me going in. But when I took the job at the Bulls, I knew we had a window of about 2.5 weeks. And if I wanted to got those players in that window, I'd have lost them because there was clubs looking at Eastern Masters from the NRL, Jaden Nickareem and some big Super League clubs. So it was a really short space of time where I had to act fast.
Great to see Ryan Sutton back in Super League as well. He must bring a vast amount of experience from obviously his days at Wigan and then the NRL.
Yeah, so I'd spoke to Sutty numerous times before we signed him, obviously to see where he's at with his injuries, and obviously we play a slightly different style of rugby, so how we fitted into that. And what I would say, he's been first class in dealing with him and bringing a serial winner over, and he's a clear leader of men. He's been fantastic for the group, and for our younger front rowers too, to have a player like him around him, he's been first class.
Of course, Bradford have won the grand final on 3 occasions. I've seen some of the fan events. Are you able to keep a lid on the excitement with this squad?
It'd help if I knew half of them. I haven't got a clue. Listen, I do my job, but I know there's a lot going on behind the scenes of making the excitement of the Bulls back in the game day experience. And Jason Hurst and the board in particular doing a fantastic job of reinventing the Bulls and the new era Bulls. So, but I'll coach the team and they can do all the pretty stuff.
And what is success for the Bradford Bulls this year?
Yeah, I've been asked that question numerous times, and I've spoke to the group about this. I think it's just to earn respect. I think we need to go out there and earn respect to the competition. There's a lot of people who still question about Bradford being back in Super League. So for us, it's going back out there, earning respect. And if we can put a good brand of rugby on the field as well, that Bradford fans enjoy watching, then I think that ticks a couple of boxes for us.
Well, the very best of luck for the season, and thanks for joining us today. So Bradford Bulls back in the Super League after 12 years. The Catalans Dragons are about to celebrate 20 years in the Betfred Super League. Let's rejoin Lewis.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. Head coach of the Catalans Dragons, Joel Tompkins, alongside me now. Joel, last season was an up and down year for you, I would imagine. Probably not one that you expected, but now you've got a pre-season under your belt. How much are you enjoying being at the reins at Catalans?
Yeah, probably an understatement for about last year. Yeah, it was most definitely up and down. But yeah, we've had a great pre-season. 14 new players have come into the squad, so some big changes, some new staff members as well. It's been a long pre-season for the boys. We started 3rd of November and we had pretty much a full squad in on the 3rd of November, so we're ready for the games now. But yeah, much more comfortable with the squad that we've got, and myself in my position looking forward to 2026.
14 new players must bring its own set of challenges in terms of building combinations, but is that offset, I guess, by 14 players that are flying in full of determination and enthusiasm for a new challenge for them?
Yeah, well, we've got a completely different recruitment strategy this season. We've gone from a lot younger age demographic, and a lot of the boys who's come in are 21 to 25 years old, really motivated, really enthusiastic, and they've not actually made a name for themselves yet. You know, there'll probably be some supporters and pundits scratching their head at some of the players who we signed because they won't see much of them. But we've done our research and we believe that they can make a big impact in Super League.
Very difficult from the outside looking in to have any idea what that top six is going to look like come September. You must feel that, you know, when everything's up in the air, you guys have got as good a chance as any as being 6, 4 above it.
Our goal will be to make that top six. Realistically, if we make the top six, that's a pretty successful season for us. You know, we've got high expectations within our four walls. We're not gonna you know, give any interviews and make any predictions, but we want to make top six. That's a clear goal and a focus for us as a club, and if we do that, we'll be happy.
Well, best of luck this year, mate. Catalans Dragons looking to make it into the top six in Betfred Super League 2026.
Right, a big thank you to all the players and the coaches as we build up to the start of the Betfred Super League season. By the way, Betfred a top price on all the teams to win the grand final. Wigan Warriors are your favourites at 9-4, then Hull KR at 5-2, Leeds at 13-2, the Saints at 7-1, Leigh at 12-1. Scully, let's talk about your beloved Saints. New coach. A few changes in personnel. How do you think we'll get on this year?
Yeah, I think it's definitely a refreshed Saints this year, hasn't it? Right from the top. I know there's stuff going on behind the scenes as well, building the club from within as well. Obviously, Paul Rowley in charge, fabulous coach, and just a completely different feel around the club. You know, they've invested well in the playing staff. You know, pre-season, David Clemmer, obviously Jackson Hastings is the big standout one, which is something that they desperately needed. You know, somebody who'll take control at half-back, and I'm excited.
We've obviously got Wigan Warriors and Hull KR ahead of the market. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, you're always going to have the usual suspects. You know, how can you look past Hull KR? They hold all 3 trophies at the moment. Wigan are always going to be there and thereabouts. You know, we spoke to Matty earlier. We know what their focus will be. Obviously, Brad Arthur's, you know, very, you know, looking forward to a big year with Leeds. You know, very, very confident. I think it's going to be a fabulous year.
And as a final question, I feel a bit old today because not only are we launching the start of the Betfred Super League season, it's 30 years since the start of the Super League. Now you look pretty good. I look old, and I didn't even play.
It's madness, mate. I still remember '96. You know, hearing that the Super League had gone full time. You know, I was 3 months into sixth form college, obviously signed at Warrington, and then all of a sudden, you know, I'm a full-time rugby league player, and it doesn't seem 30 years ago. But what a great journey it's been.
Well, as Sam Burgess said, you're looking good in that polo neck as well. Thanks for joining us, Scully. 2 live and exclusive games this weekend on the Sportsman. In the Betfred Challenge Cup, Friday night, it's Workington Town versus St Helens. And then on Saturday, it's Widnes Viking versus Leeds. But we're here at the Football Museum in Manchester to launch the start of the Betfred Super League. 30 years of Super League as well. It's going to be another cracking season. Enjoy your rugby league.